Everybody, welcome to Staff Storytime. This time we've got on the program Penny Swanson from the IC staff, and she's coming to us live from Phoenix. Penny has been on our staff for about a year and a half on the mobilization team to take teams of ordinary believers overseas to share the gospel so they can work with churches overseas to see people saved, to make disciples, and learn how to do that back at home as well. So, hello, Penny.
Hello. How are you?
Doing great. This will be fun today. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to ask you a first question. What's a fun fact about yourself?
I was born in Germany. A lot of people don't know that. My dad was in the military. He was in the army. So I was born on the north coast of Germany in a town called Bremerhaven.
Bremerhaven.
So
I was born in Heidelberg.
In where?
Heidelberg.
Heidelberg. And
Down
my
south.
sister was born in Stuttgart. So
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah, Army brats. But I think it gave me a love of travel because as a baby, flew overseas, over the Atlantic. So must have instilled in me that travel bug.
Do you remember any of the did you fly back and forth? How long were you in Germany?
We flew back, so I don't remember the baby, but I do remember as a preschool age, I do have a memory of being on a plane, Pan Am, back when Pan Am was still an airline. And I do have memories of being on that long flight. So, yep.
I was curious because I remember flying over on a C-130 or some other kind of cargo plane with the seats bolted to the floor. And there were like tanks or some kind of ATVs or whatever chained to the floor, but there was enough give that they would roll back and forth. So I probably remember that because that's some small T trauma. But anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I would remember that too.
Remember that, but yeah. So you've been a traveler since you were little, and
Yep.
So what's one of your favorite things about going on mission?
God, it's such a vast world and it's so different around the world, and God's creation is amazing. And to be able to go and see and meet people from different cultures and people groups and see the world and see what he's created outdoors and try the different foods, all of that. It's such a great experience to try those new things and see those things. That is what I love about it.
Awesome. How did you come to IC?
So in January of 2019, my sister invited me out to Texas to go to her church's, biannual mission trip every other year. She goes to Denton Bible Church. And so I flew out and went to the conference with her, and we met someone on staff at International Commission, Sam Buliga. And we started talking to him because he's Romanian, and on our mother's side, our great-grandfather was an immigrant from Romania. So we have Romanian family, and so we started talking to him about that, but then he started telling us more about International Commission and possibilities of working with them, and so that's how I found out about International Commission.
And so you decided to join the staff, raise support, and lead other people on mission.
Yes. I went on a project in March of last year to Indonesia and saw how IC works with the local churches for all the preparation beforehand and then during the project, and then knowing and loving the fact that they are following up with discipleship when our team walked away. And I've been on countless mission trips with countless organizations, but to see that model and the way it's done through the local church and the simplicity of just going out to share the gospel, that sold me. So when I came back, I did have a conversation with our VP of mobilization and talked about the role of coordinator and came on board after that trip.
Awesome. Well, we're really glad you did.
Me
Uh,
too.
yeah, absolutely. Um, do you have a story to share with us?
Yeah, from a mission trip, from that trip, or
Yeah, any story from the mission field?
okay. Well, so I have two quick ones from that particular trip, just because that was a great trip. And so the first one was the very first Monday morning, we went to a home that one of the church members had wanted us to come visit. He wanted us to share with his parents and his brother. So we did, and they accepted Christ. And his brother's name was Danny, and Danny was very kind of disheveled, long hair, and but he really knew what we were talking about, and he really grasped it. And I know it's because his brother had been praying for him all that time, and his brother goes to church, and so he was seeing that witness. And so on Thursday we were going out again door to door and in the same kind of area, and his brother couldn't go with us that day. We had asked if his brother could go out with us. He couldn't go, but Danny, who accepted Christ on Monday, Thursday went out on visitations with us, and he had cut his hair. He was cleaned up. It was like there was a physical transformation in addition to his spiritual transformation. And for me, that was a really neat thing to see, that from Monday to Thursday, just that transformation. And he was able to go out with us and see what we do and learn how to share. So that, and then my other one real quick is that we were in a hospital room on a visitation, shared the gospel with a young man, and he and his mom both accepted Christ. And as our interpreter was praying, she knew that there were people in the room who did not know the Lord, that were listening. So she was praying, and she declared that our God is the one true God. And in that exact coming out of her mouth, we had an earthquake. And if that doesn't shake you literally to the core,
Yeah,
to know that there's God had an earthquake occur that none of our other teams felt, but everyone in our room, it was an earthquake, and it was on Google. We Googled to make sure we weren't just, and yes, so God created an earthquake in that exact moment when we were standing there declaring that he was the one true God. So
man,
that's that's earth moving, literally, so it was cool.
no kidding. That sounds a lot like Acts, the book of
Yeah,
Acts.
yeah,
Imagine that,
exactly.
huh?
Yeah, I have goosebumps talking about it, so I
Oh
love it.
yeah, me too. Yeah, just thinking about believers from different backgrounds uh, coming
Yeah, that's
together
yeah,
to worship him, to declare who he is, to worship him and share the gospel, and seeing the spirit come and the place shaken. That's
yeah.
that's right out of the Bible.
Yes, it is, and he's still doing it. So
Absolutely. Yeah, something I like to tell people is if you read that, you read the New Testament and you look at uh, the things that God was doing early on in the history of the church, and so all the exciting things that God was doing to establish his name and spread the gospel. And you think, I don't see any of that stuff. I wonder, I wonder if any of that still happens. I
right,
don't see a lot of people getting saved. I don't, it's rare when I really see or feel the presence of God move. But I'll tell you what, if you want to see the book of Acts in motion, go on mission and
that's
share
right.
share
Absolutely.
Christ with people. You don't really have to travel anywhere, but share Christ with people, and you're going to see God move, because that's his will already. He's told us that
Yep,
that's what he's all about, and he invites us into it.
absolutely. I agree.
So on that, what how would you encourage people to get involved in sharing Christ and going to the nations?
You know, for me, how it started was a friend was going on a trip with a small church out of Arizona to India. And so my very first trip, I experienced all the good, bad, and ugly of everything on a mission trip, because it was a small church that we went with. And that pastor even told me just this past year, he said, I thought we failed you. I thought you'd never go on another trip again. And I said, no, because God called me to go on mission when I was 12 years old, but it took until I turned 40 before that call began. He had different plans for my life up until that point. But then when I was called, I mean, I never even gave missions a thought, and we were always have been so involved with church. Missions just was not on my mind. But he reignited that, or lit that call from way back when. And so I just started looking. If my church didn't offer it, I went with different organizations or with friends with their churches, because I had a heart to go. And so I encourage people, if your church doesn't have trips, go with International Commission, because we have trips all of the time. Now, granted, right now we're on standby because of COVID and what's going on with international travel. But in a typical time, if you feel called to go and want to go, you can go with us, and you don't have to go with your church. And you don't need any special skills. That's the other thing. You don't need medical skills. You don't need construction skills or technology skills. You need to be able to share Christ. And if you have accepted Christ as your Savior, that's all you have to do, is tell someone else who he is and what he's done for you. And that's what I love. And so get involved through International Commission. Tell your church missions committee or pastor or director, or if you don't have one, just your pastor, about who we are, because we can partner with them. And what I love too is that we do all the work. I mean, we do all their travel arrangements. We work with the churches in those other countries and organize everything with them, so that when the team goes with someone from IC leading the team, like myself and our other coordinators, you have a person with you. We go with you, and the project to go out is already set up, and it's been being prayed for 6 to 9 months. It's bathed in prayer. And then when you're there, we have all the arrangements made for you, for the team. And when you come back, all of that's taken care of. And then you know that that church is carrying on the work that we were there to help with. And so I think we are such a great fit for individuals who want to go, but also for churches who are looking for a way to do missions and don't even know where to get started, or how to partner with churches in other countries. So if I start talking, Becky, I just get so excited. I'm so passionate about it, because I'm not seeing an organization like this. And we really are such a great fit for going on global missions.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, obviously, I'm on staff too. I'm 100% on board with you. And one of the things that really excites me about being at IC is that we can be either an extra opportunity for a church that has other missions things going on. A lot of churches are looking for a trip that focuses just on evangelism, just sharing the gospel one-on-one with people. That's what we do. And some churches are looking to get into missions. And so, and we're able to partner with them and help out. So we partner with churches locally in the U.S. and the churches overseas that are hosting us. And I just think that's really unique and really cool. And I think it's really, really fun. I love to go and work with churches overseas and see and experience stories like the ones that you've told, seeing people come to Christ and knowing that they're going to be a disciple, they're going to be mentored and taught to share the gospel in the same way, because it's really easy to replicate and to multiply that. So if your church wants to be, if you're watching this and your church wants to be involved with that, you can just send us a message. We would be glad to talk with you. And you can go with mission, you can go on a mission project with Penny in November. Penny, tell them where you're going.
We are going to Chile. I'm not sure I can pronounce the name of the city, but Copapillo, maybe. I may have said it right. In November, mid-November. And if not on that trip, we have several other trips planned in October and November that you can go with. It doesn't have to be with me. It can be with any of our coordinators on any of our trips. So you can find those on our website, I know. And then next year's hopefully schedule will be out soon, and we'll have more for you to look at and go with us next year.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll put a link here in the comments here in a minute. Mark in the comments asked, "What's a typical day for a participant on one of the projects?"
So you get up in the morning, you have your breakfast, and then whatever church you are partnered with for the day, that pastor and a church member, or it may be church members and the pastors with another group, but you're partnered with people from that church, and you will go out for the day, and you may go door to door, visiting in the neighborhood of the church, or you may go to a list of homes that have been provided by the church members who want to visit to that home. You may stop because the pastor says, I know that guy sitting over there with that group of 4 guys in front of the 7-Eleven, and you will get out and you will go share right there in the public market and share the gospel. Or you may go speak I spoke at a group of grandmas. There was a monthly Christian grandma meeting, but not all of them were believers. So we spoke at that. So it's whatever the church has lined up for you. And then in the evening, most evenings, different churches will have an evangelism service where the congregation brings in their family and friends that they've been praying for them to hear a gospel presentation and message. And so you'll be involved in that service as well in the evening. So they can be long days, but you meet so many people, and you have your interpreter with you the whole day. And so it's great.
Yeah, that's the nice thing is that because we're being hosted by the local churches and we have interpreters working with us in most countries where they don't speak English.
Right.
And they can kind of be your cultural guide. So
Yeah.
you don't have to wonder about what the customs are or how things work or what the money exchange rate is and all those sorts of things. They're there to help you out, and also just to help, guide the conversation with the locals. And you're working with people who know the people that you're sharing the gospel with. And it's just really I won't say it's easy because like you said, the days are hard. Sometimes the weather is rough or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a different place, can be exhausting, but man, it's so energizing to do that, to work with those believers, to meet people and share the gospel with them and seeing God move. And it is the greatest joy.
Yeah.
Really. If you've never done that, come on with us, go with Penny in November. Plan into next year to go with us. I guarantee you won't be sorry about it. It'll be awesome.
Guarantee it too.
Yeah, it'll be good. So, anything else you want to add, Penny?
No, I'm just, God, 14 years from the first mission trip till this year, and God just grew me so much through all those different trips and experiences. And I think everyone should go on mission at least once. Leave your comfort zone to go out and see the world that God has created and meet the other people that He has created in His image and share the gospel. It will change your life. And if you never go again, you've been once, and you have a perspective of the world that you would never have sitting at home. So
absolutely. As a fellow world traveler, I agree with you. I think that travel is one of the best ways to get perspective on the world and just kind of challenge our own norms and comfort zones and stuff like that. If you're not a traveler, or if you're unable to travel now, obviously none of us can right now, but if you're unable to in the near future, or for some other reason you can't travel, and for all of us, we need to be sharing Jesus right here. So you don't have to go across the sea. You can go across the street. Right. And if you don't know how to share your faith, or you're afraid to, we've got resources to help you out, even if you don't go on a trip with us. That's the best way to learn it in practice, is to do that. And we'd love to help you do that if you're watching. But we have an evangelism toolkit that you can download. I'll put a link in the comments here. and it's got resources that help you pray for lost people, even know who to talk to, ways to break the ice and begin a gospel conversation, and how to lead someone to the Lord and encourage them to get involved with other believers. And we'll also have some trainings coming up, some online trainings coming up that you'll be hearing about soon. And tomorrow, we'll be hosting Shane Pruitt from the North American Mission Board on Instagram Live. So go to our page and look at that for the information. Thanks, Penny, for being with us and for sharing stories and your experience. It's been really,
Thanks for
really
asking.
encouraging.
Thank you for asking. I had fun.